The atmosphere in the political hall was charged with tension as Keanu Reeves, surprisingly present at a press conference, prepared to address an unexpected scandal. A prominent liberal congresswoman, once a rising star in politics, had found herself in the midst of a growing controversy. For months, whispers had circulated about her involvement in a shady deal, one that, if exposed, could unravel her entire career. Keanu, known for his calm and humble demeanor, had somehow become privy to the truth. Armed with undeniable evidence, he stood before the cameras, his composed presence drawing the eyes of both reporters and lawmakers. With each word he spoke, the Congresswoman's panic became more apparent as the truth began to emerge. Keanu didn't just reveal the scandal, he did so with a quiet authority that left her floundering, unable to defend herself against the weight of his facts. What happened next would not only alter her political future, but would redefine the concept of accountability in public office. As Keanu Reeves presented the shocking evidence, the room fell silent. The liberal congresswoman, once confident and respected, was now on the defensive, her face pale as the truth unfolded. Keanu's calm voice cut through the tension, meticulously laying out how she had been involved in a corrupt deal with high-profile lobbyists. Each piece of evidence he presented was irrefutable: emails, financial records, and confidential meetings that had been carefully documented. The congresswoman attempted to interrupt, but Keanu held firm, his quiet yet commanding presence dominating the room. The media, once skeptical of Keanu's role in politics, now hung on his every word, recognizing the gravity of what was unfolding. The congresswoman's usual political finesse evaporated, leaving her exposed in front of a nation watching intently. Keanu's ability to remain calm and focused while revealing such a scandal left the room in shock. Her career, once filled with promise, was now hanging by a thread. The congresswoman's defense crumbled under the weight of Keanu's calm and methodical revelations. As Keanu revealed more incriminating evidence, her attempts to refute his claims grew increasingly desperate. The room, filled with political figures, reporters, and media cameras, watched as her credibility shattered in real time. She stammered, trying to discredit Keanu's evidence, but the undeniable proof he presented was overwhelming. The scandal, once a rumor, was now undeniable, and the congresswoman found herself unable to escape the truth. Keanu's poise throughout the entire ordeal left an indelible impression, showing that strength doesn't always have to be loud or aggressive. His quiet confidence exposed the flaws in the system, and his unwavering commitment to the truth became a turning point in the scandal. As the congresswoman was led out of the room to face the consequences, the audience remained in stunned silence. Keanu, ever humble, didn't seek accolades. His goal was simply to ensure that truth prevailed. As the congresswoman was escorted out of the room remained still, the weight of the moment settling over everyone. The press, once eager to report on the next scandal, now found themselves reflecting on the integrity of the situation. Keanu's calm demeanor had turned what could have been a chaotic spectacle into a controlled and impactful moment of truth. Media outlets quickly picked up on the significance of the event, with headlines praising Keanu for his composure and the unwavering way he handled the exposure of such a powerful figure. Meanwhile, the congresswoman's reputation was in tatters, her political future uncertain as investigations into her actions began in earnest. Behind the scenes, Keanu remained quietly resolute, not seeking the public attention his role had garnered. He had no desire for praise. He simply believed that exposing the truth, no matter how difficult, was the right thing to do. The incident sparked widespread discussions about accountability in politics, with many echoing Keanu's belief that no one, regardless of their position, should be above scrutiny. As investigations into the congresswoman's actions unfolded, the public's demand for accountability grew louder. Keanu's involvement in exposing the truth became a turning point in the political narrative, shifting the conversation from sensationalism to the importance of integrity and transparency. Pam Bondi, who had been quietly supporting Keanu in the background, saw her own role in the larger movement take shape. Together, they became symbols of the quiet power that comes with standing firm for what is right. The scandal quickly became a symbol for the public's disillusionment with politics as usual. Keanu, who had remained humble throughout the ordeal, found himself being invited to speak at public forums and panels, not as a celebrity, but as someone whose integrity and commitment to truth had brought about real change. His actions had inspired many to take a stand against corruption in all areas of life, whether in politics, business, or their own communities. As the Congresswoman faced the consequences of her actions, Keanu's example continued to ripple through society, encouraging others to speak out against injustice. This moment, which had started as a courtroom drama, had now evolved into a movement. As the Congresswoman's downfall unfolded, Keanu's role in exposing her corruption was discussed. In interviews, articles, and social media forums, his quiet strength had taken down a powerful figure, but it was his unwavering commitment to truth and integrity that made him a figure of respect. Keanu's influence reached beyond just the immediate scandal. His actions began to shape a larger movement towards transparency and accountability in both politics and public life. Pam Bondi, working alongside Keanu, championed reforms that sought to prevent similar corruption in the future. They both became symbols of hope for those seeking justice in a system often clouded by power and privilege. Keanu, ever humble, continued his advocacy, not seeking recognition but using his platform to inspire others to stand up against injustice. The ripple effect of their actions became undeniable as more people found the courage to expose wrongdoings and demand accountability. The movement Keanu helped inspire was not just about one politician's fall from grace. It was about a collective push for a more just and transparent society. As the movement for judicial and political transparency gained momentum, Keanu Reeves continued to support Pam Bondi's efforts, though his role remained largely behind the scenes. His commitment to justice and integrity became a guiding force, inspiring others to speak up in the face of corruption. Media outlets that had once focused on celebrity scandals now turned their attention to the deeper issues at hand: how power can be misused, and how those in positions of authority must be held accountable. Keanu's quiet actions had sparked a larger conversation about the importance of honesty and responsibility in all areas of public life. Pam, alongside Keanu, became a vocal advocate for new policies aimed at preventing corruption within the political system. Their work was not just about exposing the past, but about creating a future where transparency and ethical conduct were the standards, not the exceptions. Through their efforts, they had shifted the narrative in a profound way, reminding the public that justice could prevail, even in the most challenging circumstances. Keanu, ever humble and dedicated to his principles, continued to inspire others to rise above the noise and act with integrity, proving that sometimes the quietest voices can bring about the most powerful change. As Keanu Reeves and Pam Bondi's efforts gained widespread recognition, their influence began to transcend the immediate scandal. The conversation surrounding corruption and accountability in politics became more focused, with people demanding stricter regulations and more transparent systems. Keanu's example, though rooted in a single moment, evolved into a movement for reform. He became a symbol of quiet resistance against the powerful forces that often manipulate systems for personal gain. Pam continued to push for legislation that would hold public officials to a higher standard, ensuring that such corruption could not easily flourish again. Her partnership with Keanu had become a model for others in the political and legal realms, showing that courage and integrity could win the day. Meanwhile, Keanu's role as an advocate for justice grew as he continued to lend his support to causes that championed truth and transparency. The ripple effect of their combined efforts was felt across the country, as more and more individuals found the courage to speak out against injustice in their own communities. Keanu's quiet strength and Pam's relentless pursuit of justice had sparked a cultural shift, one that encouraged a society built on accountability and truth. In the wake of the reforms sparked by Keanu Reeves and Pam Bondi, the landscape of public accountability began to shift. Their combined efforts led to a series of groundbreaking changes, as new laws were proposed to ensure that public figures could no longer operate with impunity. Keanu, though still largely out of the spotlight, continued to use his platform to amplify the need for honesty and transparency in both politics and business. The movement he helped inspire went beyond a single case. It became a national call to action, urging people to stand up for integrity in every aspect of society. Pam, now a key figure in advocating for judicial and political reform, worked tirelessly to ensure the momentum continued. She introduced policies aimed at holding politicians accountable and ensuring greater transparency in their actions. The media, once focused on sensational stories, now found themselves covering the larger narrative of reform and justice that had taken root. What had started as a single act of exposing corruption in a courtroom had evolved into a full-scale movement for change, one that reached far beyond the original scandal. Keanu's impact, though understated, had proven that sometimes the most powerful acts of change come from those who choose to act with humility and integrity. As the years passed, the reforms sparked by Keanu Reeves and Pam Bondi continued to shape the political and judicial landscape. The lessons they had taught the world about courage, integrity, and the importance of standing up for justice remained ingrained in the hearts of those who had witnessed their actions. The once corrupt Congresswoman's fall from grace had become a symbol of how the truth, no matter how inconvenient, would always find a way to the surface. Keanu, who had quietly supported the cause, became a lasting symbol of how one person's quiet strength can change the course of history. Pam Bondi, having led the charge for transparency and reform, remained a dedicated advocate for justice, pushing for further improvements in the system. Their work together had changed the conversation around public accountability, creating a ripple effect that encouraged people to act with honesty, even when faced with adversity. Keanu and Pam's legacy, built on truth and the pursuit of what's right, would live on as a beacon for future generations to follow. Please subscribe. Channel for Keanu Reeves. Respect, thanks.